owns the data, who maintains the data. You know, we really look at this as what's called the layers of responsibility. I think Michael had a question earlier today in the review that said it's a top-down approach. So it's from senior leadership or senior management, and it trickles down to just the average Joe or the average people in the organization. So the C-level folks or the executive leadership typically are responsible for the day-to-day management of the organization. So the people that are in the chief positions, CFO, CEO, those are the layers of responsibility, and they determine and maintain who owns the data. In the book, they actually talk about a lot of executives who have gone behind bars, and this is just kind of interesting here. Let me see if I can. I'm sharing my screen here, so I'm just looking at the book here. I'm sharing it. Executives behind bars here. You know, I remember whenever this came out, WorldCom, Enron, Adelphia, Tyco. I remember when that came out, and I started reading more about some of those situations. And I thought to myself, what scumbags those people are to steal all of their employees' money, or the profits, and cooking the books. And at that time, not knowing enough about that situation, personally, I wanted to find out more. And when the Senate went in and put together some new guidelines, and the Security Exchange Commission went out and started to fine and give people prison sentences, it really made a lot of CEOs accountable, or CFOs, C-level people accountable for their actions. And because of that, we've seen a litany of different experiences here. You can look here in 2007, Forbes and the Ascendant Corporation, Walter Forbes, sentenced to 12 years in the pokey, ordered to pay $3 billion in restitution. $3 billion. Stanford Financial Group, 110 years in prison, $7 billion. So there's just a bunch of different examples here of these dishonest people where, they have all this money, they get greedy, and they just try to take advantage of the situation. And because of that, the people that don't make as much money are oftentimes the victims. But the book goes through and it defines the Sarbanes-Oxley and some of the different ways that we trust but verify. We hold people accountable by enforcing a regular audit, usually on a quarterly basis in the commercial sector. You do a regular audit of the books to ensure that people aren't doing some poke or some weird looking things on the books. And because of that, there's a lot of different things that have risen from the data management. One of them that it's very likely you will see as a role on your exam is this thing called the data owner right here. The data owner is usually a member of management who is in charge of a business unit and ultimately responsible for the protection and use of a subset of information. So that's important because that usually is the person that is responsible for everything that happens with the data. Now, it says a subset of information. So those subsets of information make up the whole superset of data within the organization. So data owner sometimes called the information owner, is usually a member of management, and they're typically responsible, write this here, responsible for the protection and use of a specific subset of information. Another one that you sometimes will hear is called a data custodian. And that data custodian is the one that's responsible for maintaining and protecting the data. So that one would be like the day-to-day utilization or implementation of backups, um, restoring data, retention of records, and any adhering to compliance or security objectives would be the data custodian. Whereas the system owner is typically